TV soap news and spoilers say that a tale of betrayal and redemption. In the quiet town of Willow Creek, where whispers carried on the wind and secrets lingered in the shadows, Dani Harper stood at a crossroads. Her heart, a fragile mosaic of hope and fear, beat uneasily as she navigated her relationship with Andre Sullivan. Their love, once a private sanctuary, was now teetering on the edge of exposure, and Dani wasn't sure she was ready for the world to know. The scars of her past, inflicted by a man named Bill, still burned beneath her skin, a constant reminder of the pain that love could bring. She had built walls around her heart, and though Andre's gentle persistence chipped away at them, the fear of betrayal kept her guarded. Andre, with his easy smile and unwavering confidence, had always pushed for their relationship to step into the light. He wanted the world to see them together, to celebrate what they had. But Dani hesitated, her mind haunted by memories of Bill's cruelty, his lies, his infidelity, the way he'd left her broken and doubting her worth. What if Andre, too, grew tired of her caution? What if the spotlight she dreaded revealed flaws she couldn't hide? Her reluctance wasn't just fear, it was survival. And yet, Andre's insistence grew stronger, his words laced with impatience. Dani, we can't keep hiding forever. Let's show them what we've got. Unbeknownst to Dani, her hesitation was sowing seeds of doubt in Andre's mind. He loved her, or so he told himself, but the weight of her indecision was heavy. He craved excitement, the thrill of being seen, of being wanted. And in the quiet corners of his heart, a flicker of interest in someone else began to grow, a woman named Asley Monroe, whose vibrant energy and fearless charm captivated him. Asley had recently ended her tumultuous relationship with Derek, a man whose possessiveness had stifled her spirit. In her newfound freedom, she radiated a magnetic allure, and Andre found himself drawn to it like a moth to a flame. The town of Willow Creek buzzed with gossip, its streets alive with the hum of speculation. Asley, with her golden hair and infectious laugh, was the kind of woman who turned heads wherever she went. She was the opposite of Dani in many ways, bold, unapologetic, and unafraid to take risks. Andre had always harbored a quiet crush on her, a fleeting fantasy he'd kept buried during his time with Dani. But now, with Asley single and Dani's reluctance casting a shadow over their relationship, the temptation was too strong to ignore. He saw an opportunity, a chance to step into the light with someone who seemed ready to shine alongside him. It was a crisp autumn evening when the spark ignited. Outside the rusty Anchor, Willow Creek's favorite watering hole, Andre and Asley stood close, their laughter mingling with the cool night air. Asley's arm was locked tightly around his, her eyes sparkling with mischief as she leaned in. Ready to get noticed? Andre asked, his voice low and teasing, a grin spreading across his face. Asley's response was a playful nudge, her touch lingering just a moment too long. To anyone watching, they were a couple on the cusp of something new, their chemistry undeniable. The bar's neon sign cast a warm glow over them, illuminating a scene that was both intimate and reckless. But fate, as it often does, had other plans. Across the street, hidden in the shadows of a dimly lit alley, Dani stood frozen, her heart plummeting into her stomach. She had come to the bar to surprise Andre, to finally take a step toward the openness he craved. Her wallet, clutched tightly in her hand, slipped from her fingers and hit the pavement with a dull thud. The sound was drowned out by the shattering of her world. She watched, breathless, as Andre and Asley disappeared into the bar, their arms entwined, their laughter a cruel echo in her ears. The betrayal cut deeper than she could have imagined, slicing through the fragile trust she had begun to rebuild. Dani's knees buckled, and she sank to the ground, her hands trembling as she retrieved her wallet. Tears blurred her vision, each one a testament to the pain she had fought so hard to escape. Bill's betrayal had been devastating, but this was a wound of a different kind. Andre had been her safe harbor, the one who promised to protect her heart. And now, he had tossed it aside for Asley, the woman who seemed to embody everything Dani was not. The bar's music pulsed faintly in the distance, a mocking reminder of the life she thought she'd built with Andre. A new war had begun, not with swords or words, but with the quiet, devastating battle within her soul. The days that followed were a blur of anguish and resolve. Dani retreated into herself, her apartment becoming a fortress of solitude. She avoided the rusty anchor, the town square, anywhere she might run into Andre or Asley. The gossip mill churned relentlessly, whispers of Andre's new romance spreading like wildfire. "Did you hear? Andre and Asley are the talk of the town." Poor Dani, she didn't see it coming. The pity in their voices was almost worse than the betrayal itself. Dani's pride, already battered, took another hit with every sympathetic glance. But Dani was no stranger to pain. She had survived Bill, had clawed her way back from the edge of despair. And though her heart was bruised, it was not broken beyond repair. Late at night, when the world was quiet and her tears had dried, she began to plot her comeback. This wasn't just about Andre or Asley, it was about reclaiming her own strength, her own story. She would not let another man define her worth. The war within her was shifting, from one of loss to one of redemption. Meanwhile, Andre and Asley's romance burned bright but fast. Asley's charm was intoxicating, but it came with a price. She thrived on attention, on the thrill of being seen, and Andre soon found himself struggling to keep up. Their dates were spectacles, each one more public than the last, as if Asley needed the world's approval to feel alive. Andre, who had once craved the spotlight, began to feel like a prop in her performance. The connection he'd imagined with her was shallow, built on fleeting moments rather than the deep, quiet bond he'd shared with Dani. Regret began to creep in, a slow poison that tainted his every smile. Asley, too, was not immune to doubt. She had chosen Andre because he was safe, a rebound from Derek's controlling grip. But as the weeks passed, she began to see the cracks in their facade. Andre's heart wasn't fully hers, it lingered in the past, with Dani. Their conversations grew strained, their laughter forced. The town, ever watchful, began to whisper of trouble in paradise. "They're not as happy as they seem," the gossip said, and they weren't wrong. Dani, meanwhile, was rebuilding. She started small, reconnecting with old friends who had been pushed aside during her relationship with Andre. She joined a local art class, pouring her pain into vibrant canvases that spoke of resilience and hope. She began to smile again, not the cautious smile of before, but one born of newfound strength. The townspeople noticed the change, their pity giving way to admiration. Dani was no longer the heartbroken girl, she was a woman rising from the ashes. One evening, fate orchestrated another collision. The Rusty Anchor was hosting its annual Harvest Festival, a night of music, dancing, and revelry. Dani, urged by her friends, decided to attend. She wore a deep emerald dress that hugged her curves and caught the light, her hair swept up to reveal the determination in her eyes. She was there to reclaim her place in the world, not as Andre's girlfriend, but as Dani Harper, whole and unbroken. Inside the bar, the air was thick with laughter and the clink of glasses. Andre and Asley were there, their presence impossible to ignore. They stood at the center of the room, but the spark between them had dulled. Asley's laughter was too loud, Andre's smile too tight. When Dani walked in, the room seemed to pause, all eyes drawn to her quiet confidence. Andre's breath caught in his throat, a pang of regret hitting him like a tidal wave. Asley noticed, her own insecurities flaring as she tightened her grip on his arm. Dani didn't falter. She moved through the crowd with grace, her friends at her side, her laughter genuine and free. She danced with strangers, her movements fluid and unself-conscious. Andre watched, unable to look away, as the woman he'd betrayed shone brighter than ever. Asley, sensing the shift, pulled him closer, but the gesture felt desperate, hollow. The night reached its climax when Dani took the stage for the open mic. She hadn't planned to perform, but the music called to her, and she answered. Her voice, soft at first, grew stronger with each note, a ballad of loss and resilience that silenced the room. Every word was a piece of her heart, laid bare for all to see. Andre stood frozen, the weight of his choices crushing him. Asley's eyes glistened with unshed tears, her own regrets mirroring his. When the song ended, the crowd erupted in applause, but Dani's gaze was fixed on the horizon. She wasn't singing for Andre or Asley, she was singing for herself. The war within her was over, and she had won. She stepped off the stage, her heart lighter than it had been in months, and walked out into the night, leaving Andre and Asley to grapple with their own choices. In the weeks that followed, Dani's transformation became the talk of Willow Creek. She opened a small art studio, her paintings drawing visitors from beyond the town's borders. Her strength inspired others, her story a testament to the power of self-love. Andre and Asley's relationship fizzled out quietly, their spark extinguished by the weight of their own insecurities. Andre tried to reach out to Dani, but she was no longer the woman who needed his validation. She had found her own light, and it burned brighter than any betrayal could dim. Beyond the gates of Willow Creek, Dani's story spread, a beacon for those who had been hurt but refused to be broken. She had faced the pain of betrayal and emerged not just whole, but radiant. And as the town settled into the rhythm of a new season, Dani Harper stood tall, her heart no longer a battlefield, but a garden in bloom.